Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking into something really quite unsettling. We have a stack of sources here that, well, they challenge everything we think we know about innocence and about evil. Our mission, essentially, is to unpack this one specific case. It really does make you question human nature itself, especially when you're talking about children. We're pulling insights from a true crime podcast, The Whispers of an 8-Year-Old Killer, specifically that episode, Innocence Masked.
Right, and this deep dive asks a question that's just profoundly difficult, isn't it? How could a child, only 8 years old, do these unspeakable things? So we'll trace the events, look at the details. It's a case that absolutely shook a community, and honestly, it still raises these really disturbing questions about where such darkness even comes from.
Okay, let's dive in then. The story starts 2017, quiet suburb, Elmwood, Pennsylvania. We've got the Parker family, just moved in, 2-story house. Neighbors said they were, polite enough, reserved, trying to make a fresh start. And the family is 14-year-old Emma and her little brother Nathan, just 8. And he's described as, blonde hair, blue eyes, shy smile, the kind of kid you just wouldn't look twice at.
And that's so key, isn't it? That appearance of normalcy, that sweet, shy kid image. It can mask something so much more disturbing. The sources really hammer home this contrast. It's central to why this case hit so hard.
But even before the really terrible things happened, the source mentions Nathan was always seen as, well, different.
Different, yeah.
Teachers notice things, like an unusual fascination with dead animals. That's a classic warning sign sometimes.
It can be, yes.
And a lack of emotional response in class. Violent outbursts at recess. One teacher actually filed a report. He shoved another kid down the stairs.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And connecting that, it raises that big question.
Yeah.
How often do we explain away troubling behavior in kids? The school counselor, like you said, put it down on the move. Adjustment issues.
Right.
No one, and you can understand why, no one thought an 8-year-old could actually be dangerous.
That's such a critical point. The source kind of suggests this inherent societal block, right? We just struggle to believe a child could be truly malevolent.
Exactly. We look for the external stuff, bad home life, bullying, something we can fix.
And when that's not there,
then we default to, oh, it's developmental or temporary stress, like the move. And it's well-meaning, of course it is, but it means those crucial early signs, the fascination with death, the actual violence, like the shoving, they get dismissed, tragically in this case.
Tragically is the word, because that perception, it just shattered in October 2017. A neighborhood cat, Muffin, vanished. 2 days later, the owner, Miss Callahan, finds it in her backyard. Lifeless, posed, unnaturally. And its eyes were removed. Police found nothing, no fingerprints, just one thing, a kid's blue shoelace tied around its neck.
The shoelace, so specific.
Then, a month later, another incident, even more horrifying. A little toddler, 3 years old, Jeremy, found face down in his own kiddie pool in the backyard.
Oh no.
Coroner rules it accidental drowning, but the mom, she was adamant he couldn't have gotten in there alone, couldn't reach it. She remembered something her older son mentioned, seeing a little boy with a shovel watching them over the fence the day before.
Wow. The pattern there is just chilling. You see the progression, animal cruelty clearly marked with that shoelace. Then this death, Jamie's death, that looks accidental. It suggests this escalation. And it shows how something looking like an accident, especially with such a young victim, can hide real malice, particularly when the suspect is, well, an 8-year-old playing with Legos. The idea itself seems impossible.
Completely impossible until the truly unthinkable happened. Nathan's own sister, Emma, 14, found one morning in her bed, cold, stiff.
Oh gosh.
Smothered. During the night, no forced entry, no sign of a struggle, just a faint imprint, a small handprint on her cheek.
Just the handprint?
Yeah. Police first thought, okay, home invasion, right, because of how she died. But no break-in. That changed everything. Focus shifted inwards. And then they found it. The thing that forced them to look at the unimaginable. A drawing. Crude, childish, under Nathan's mattress.
A drawing, yeah.
Stick figure in a bed, X's for eyes, another smaller stick figure next to it, smiling.
It tells the whole story, doesn't it? In the most horrifyingly simple way.
A story nobody wanted to believe.
In that detail, it really highlights something crucial in these sorts of investigations, doesn't it? Sometimes the most damning clues are right there in the most unexpected places.
Yeah.
That drawing, so simple but so awful, it was like a direct window into his thinking. It confirmed what the scene suggested, but what was just too shocking to accept up front.
So they bring Nathan in for questioning, and at first he cries, says monsters took Emma.
The expected reaction, maybe.
Right, but then it says he just changed. Voice went cold, eyes locked on the detective, and he just says it. I made her stop breathing. She screamed too loud in her sleep.
Just like that.
Cold. It stunned everyone. The town, the family, obviously. Police dug deeper, found more drawings.
More?
Yeah, diagrams of traps, pictures of animals, red slashes on them, stick figures holding knives, smeared with red ink.
Wow, that paints a picture.
It really does.
And the psychologists, they eventually landed on a diagnosis, right?
Yep.
Severe childhood psychopathy.
Exactly.
Which we need to understand from the sources is incredibly rare. It's not just bad behavior or, conduct disorder. This is different. It means a profound, early lack of empathy. No moral compass, really. No remorse. And Nathan ticked all those boxes.
Like when they asked him why his sister.
His answer was just chillingly simple. She got more attention. I wanted silence.
So silence.
Yeah, and he admitted everything else too. Killing the cat, pushing Jeremy in the pool, even watching Miss Callahan from her yard. He said, I almost went in her house, but she locked her door.
The calculation in that at 8 years old, it's almost impossible to process.
Deeply, deeply disturbing, that level of intent.
So the question everyone was asking, obviously, was how? How does a child get like this? Parents weren't abusive. No history of neglect that anyone could find.
Right, no obvious environmental triggers.
But the mother, she did remember one thing, kind of dismissed it at the time. When Nathan was just 4 years old, she found him outside with a magnifying glass, burning ants.
Burning ants.
And just calmly watching them. For over 2 hours, she thought, oh, it's just curiosity. Kids do weird things.
But in hindsight,
yeah.
Wow, that raises that profoundly challenging idea from the source material, doesn't it? This possibility of innate predispositions. Even without the usual factors of abuse, neglect that we look for, it forces you to consider, could some forms of this darkness actually be born, not purely made?
Or at least manifest incredibly early, regardless of the environment.
Precisely. That ant incident becomes this stark early warning sign, only understood way too late.
It really throws that whole nature versus nurture debate into such a dark place. But you said severe childhood psychopathy is extremely rare. Could anything else have been missed? Or does the source really lean heavily on that innate biological explanation here?
The sources, especially drawing on the psychological assessments done at the time, they really do emphasize the congenital or innate aspect because of that lack of clear environmental triggers for something so severe. I mean, pinning down a single cause for any psychological condition is always complex, right?
Sure.
But in Nathan's case, the experts cited in the source material kept coming back to the absence of abuse, the absence of neglect. It pointed them strongly towards a biological or inherent component. The consensus seems to be this was just an extremely rare, extremely early presentation of a profound psychological difference, not something caused by typical life events.
Okay, so legally what happened? He's 8.
Right. Too young to be tried as an adult in Pennsylvania.
So?
He was placed in a secure juvenile psychiatric facility under 24-hour watch. He's still there today.
And the reports from the staff inside?
Also chilling. Apparently Nathan never cries. Smiles a lot, actually.
Smiles.
Yeah. And sometimes tells the staff things like, there are more to come, I just need to get out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. From a societal viewpoint, it just forces that question, what do you do when the monster, quote unquote, is still in elementary school? This case just throws the limitations of our legal system, our psychological understanding, into really sharp relief. How do you manage someone with such a profound lack of empathy, especially so young? It's a massive challenge for protection, rehabilitation, safety, everything.
This whole deep dive into Nathan's story, it really does make you just pause, doesn't it? And think about the darker possibilities of human nature. It's such a stark reminder that innocence, well, it isn't always what it looks like on the surface. Sometimes behind a child's smile, there can be something just more terrifying than you could imagine.
Absolutely. And it leaves us grappling with these huge questions, not just about evil, born versus made, but also just how do we even process it? The idea of a child capable of that kind of calculated cruelty, feeling absolutely no remorse, it's hard to wrap your head around.
So for you listening, maybe consider this. What does it mean for us as a society when those earliest warning signs, those really extreme signs, get missed? or dismissed. Or maybe we just don't understand them. And how do we even begin to protect others when a threat like that is hidden behind what looks like perfect innocence?